Hi, it's Sharon from Grace's neighbor Sharon. I hope you enjoy the video. This video is part of the Recreation Inspiration Open Challenge. More about that a little later. For now, I want you to know that I was inspired by Jackie from Blessed Beyond Measure. She did a video about 7 months ago that I took 3 projects from, and I hope I did them justice. Jackie is amazing. Her makeup and hair is always flawless. Her reveals are beautifully staged, and her intros put you in a great mood. There's always so much to be inspired by, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Project number 1. Moo, Oink, Cluck. I'm using some white chalk paint, Mod Podge, ribbon from Michael's that I got for 75% off, Dollar Tree vinyl, and these smaller tags from Dollar Tree because I didn't have any regular size ones that were same size and shape. So here's Jackie's version in the bottom left hand corner, and she did hers full size, and her animals were white. Mine are going to be black. So I took these Valentine's tags, and they were 2 for $1 before the $1.25 kicked in. So one tag is going to get 2 coats of the white chalk paint, and the other tag will get the vinyl. So I'm using my big brush, and it's a nice quality brush that I got at Habitat for Humanity, drying in between coats with my heat blower. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but anyway, I did 2 coats, dried it, and then I set it aside to work on the tag with the vinyl. I used a remnant that I had left over to cover the back. It wasn't quite the same size, so like Jackie did in her video, I used different little bits and pieces to cover it up on the back and just give it a nice cohesive look. Once I finish playing around with that, I'm going to flip it over and open a new roll of Dollar Tree vinyl and cover the front. And you'll notice I was able to pull it back up and then bring it back down again. This time it covers the whole tag, and I use scissors and a pokey tool to get the hole poked through. So I did an image search on Cricut for cow, pig, chicken, and this one came up. This was the very first one, and I really liked it. The words are next to the animals instead of on top of them, like how Jackie did, and that's just because they were both in black, and I liked that. But when I tried to weld it, the space underneath the pig kept filling in black, so I ended up having to have it cut the way it jumbles it around and everything, so the words were separate, and I did have a little bit of trouble with them. You'll notice here on the moo that I ended up just putting it on like a regular sticker instead of using the transfer vinyl. So I mean, it worked out. It took me a minute to get the M situated. It was a little bit crooked, and I just went back at it and tried not to be frustrated. This happens sometimes with me. I don't know if it's my inexperience or the letters were pretty skinny. But I liked this version of the cow, pig, chicken. And I just chose to do mine in the black because that's how I like it, and I like the white background for Farmhouse. So this is my version. I used some Dollar Tree twine to make the hanging cord. Now Jackie did a tassel on hers. I chose to do a bow, awareness shape, scrunch it up, wrap some twine around it, and then tie a knot in the back. Once I got that nice and tight, I'm going to place it where I want to, make sure it looks okay, And then I'll put a healthy dose of hot glue underneath it. Give it some firm pressure and let the glue set up, and then I'll dovetail the ends of the ribbon. Make sure it doesn't cover any of my image or words. And this project, as Jackie would say, is fabulous, and you'll get a better look at the final reveal. A little more about this challenge. Every month we choose one or more creators and recreate one or more of their projects. Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun is our fearless leader. She keeps us in shape. And then this month, the guest host is Dee Dee from Dee Dee's Art Workshop. Their channel links will be in my description box below. Now don't forget, Jackie from Blessed Beyond Measure was my inspiration for this month, and her channel link, as well as a link to the video that inspired me, will be in the description box below. Project number 2. Make memories. So I found this sweet little placemat at Dollar Tree, and I grabbed 3 of them, and it's a good thing. There's Jackie's in the bottom of the corner there. She mounted hers on some foam core board, but I only had a foam core board remnant, and I trimmed the placemat for it and then realized I wouldn't have any room for the frame. So this is a second attempt, and I'm just using some cardboard. I just every once in a while save some cardboard. So it's a little bit bigger than the placemat, and I'm just slathering some glue on the back of the placemat. This is just regular white Aylmer's school glue, and once I get a bunch on there, I'm just using this paintbrush, making sure every square inch of the back of that placemat is smeared with glue. And as long as you wash the paintbrush afterwards, like warm soapy water, or just get it soaking before you wash it, it's fine after being in the glue. You can use it for painting. Alright, so I smooth it down on the cardboard, and you'll see cardboard peeking out a little bit there. I haven't trimmed it yet, but I want to sturdy it up. Jackie used pieces of foam core board to sturdy hers up. I grabbed some paint stir sticks and some craft sticks. And fun fact, if you know you're going to be trimming the cardboard, don't put the sturdy sticks so close to the edges, because then you can't trim it. So I did actually have to tear up one of these sticks and move it closer to the center so I could trim the cardboard. Now I'm just going to, instead of measuring, I'm just going to draw a line at for the length of the edges there, like that. And just going to grab my little miter box and saw that I keep underneath my desk. And it literally took like 2 or 3 back and forth, and the trim was cut. It was like nothing. The wood or whatever it was so soft. It took me longer to place the trim in the little box than it did to actually cut it. There, done. So I did the same with all the pieces. So the side pieces I cut to be the full size of the placemat, and then the bottom and top I cut to go in between the trim, if that makes sense. Same deal, just measured it against the placemat, did the line and back and forth a couple times. And I have all 4 of my pieces. Off camera, I sanded the edges just to clean them up nice. And then I'm just using the 2 glues, the wood glue and the hot glue in different spots. I do little lines of them and make sure they don't touch each other. I just push down, and I'll give you a good look at this during the final reveal. Project number 3. Channel name display. So Jackie's channel name is also an often used phrase, and she had a Cricut cut out. So there's her version in the bottom left. So she used her phrase / channel name. So what I decided to do is get a little quirky and use my channel name instead of the phrase. So I'm going to give it 2 coats. The bamboo cutting board is going to get 2 coats. I just decided I wanted a nice even white background for my words. My words are going to be black. I did dry the board in between coats, just making sure I had nice even coverage. Then I'm going to tape down the board so I can get the words down on there nice and centered. And I thought this might help. The funny thing is, Jackie kept her version simple, and I had a hard time staying simple. So I did end up adding embellishments, but not until I had perfectly centered this. Whereas normally if I plan to add embellishments on the top, I would bring the words down a little bit to give room and keep everything balanced. So I did have some extra little branches for a little flourish, and I did off camera add them to this craft. But I did it after I had already stopped filming, so you'll see it in the final reveal. So I'm going ahead and weeding my words, and then as per usual slowly lifting them off the backing sheet and using my tool to hold some of the letters down as I peel the backing off. So here I am trying so hard to get it centered. I used a nice font that was similar to the font in my thumbnails, and then just a cursive font for my name. Once I was content with the placement, I went ahead and just sanded the edges. You end up not really seeing the edges, so I'm not quite sure why I chose to do that, but I did. And then I'm going to add some Mod Podge. I don't use a lot of Mod Podge in my crafting, but I did decide I wanted the letters to stay on there good because I was still going to be adding some stuff. I chose to use regular beads instead of half beads like Jackie because she had a nice size of beads. The half beads I had were just a little bit too big and it didn't look right. So I used these regular beads and I put a little thing of wire inside them. Just had some scrap wire. I used my 2 glue, the wood glue, hot glue combination. And I thought maybe having the wire would prevent it from being sort of all wobbly, and it just didn't. I ended up having to straighten out these strands of beads quite a few times, just using my hands to straighten them out. And that's the nice thing about the wood glue is you can move it for a while. So I did decide not to go all the way across the top with beads because I wanted to put down a tumbling tower block to put my embellishments on. So I trimmed the wire at both ends, actually, and then left the space for the tumbling tower block. And see, I keep fidgeting with it, straightening it out. I used just hot glue on the tumbling tower block, and I made a swag using a pretty eucalyptus with a little bit of shimmer that I got on sale at Michael's, 75% off, because it was considered a Christmas. So wired together a little swag, held it down on the hot glue, and then just did my regular bow using the awareness shape, scrunching it up, wrapping some twine around it, tying the twine in the back, and then I did go in with this narrow ribbon to do the middle of the bow. I just wanted it to look a little bit nicer than just having twine there. Then once my bow was ready, I did a healthy dose of hot glue on top of the swag and pressed the bow down on it. I think it looks fantastic, just a little bit off balance, so I do come in with those little flourishes afterwards. But before I do that, I'm going to glue some tumbling tower blocks on the back so I can prop it up. You'll get a good look at the finished product during the final reveal. The final reveal. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.